Hi, I'm Kristen Oakes-White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. My partner Avery Davidson is in New Orleans for the Farm and Table Conference right now. So let's go there and see how things are going at the conference. Avery?
Well, Kristen, right now in New Orleans, Farm and Table are meeting literally because it's lunchtime for the Farm and Table New Orleans Conference. I hear the sounds of forks and plates tapping together, but that really is what this event is all about. You know, we talk about our mission statement before every show, bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. Well, this is a conference designed to bring them together every year to have discussions about things like source transparency, knowing exactly where your food comes from. And there was someone in the audience in that panel that had a pretty unique perspective.
The screen lets you know exactly where you are, a place where the farm and the table come together. And on this panel at the Ernest N. Morial Convention Center, there's a fisherman at the table as well. Lance Nacio is the captain and owner of Anna Marie Shrimp. The discussion he's helping lead is about source transparency, your ability to know exactly where your food comes from.
Transparency to me is like, bringing the fish to a restaurant, bringing the shrimp to the consumer at the farmer's market, cutting out those middle people who are actually making more money just sitting back, working numbers, and putting a face to the product.
Putting a face to the product is also a mission of Angelina Harrison. She's the director of markets for a company called Market Umbrella, which oversees the Crescent City farmers markets and works with restaurants to source farm fresh food directly from growers. She knows that public perception can be off.
The picture book farm that people have in their mind about where food comes from is just not the reality of conventional food. So juxtaposing the realities of small farms or small producer-only operations that we work with those conventional realities to create more consumer awareness and demand is also a huge part of what we do.
In the audience listening to the discussion is someone very familiar with agriculture. Lainey LeBlanc, Louisiana FFA National Officer Candidate. This is her second year to attend the Farm and Table Conference.
We need to make people care about where their food comes from because it matters at a local economic level and it matters big picture for the entire country in agriculture.
One of the topics broached by this panel was about labels like non-GMO and USDA organic you find in the grocery store, which may do more harm to the discussion about source transparency than good.
It's important as a consumer to remain educated and continue to seek out where exactly was this product sourced from and what am I buying? What am I about to eat? What am I about to feed my family? What am I preparing my food with? And so in terms of labeling, I think it's important to never stop asking why, where, how.
Of course, you've seen Lance Nacio on TWILA before. He's normally over at the Red Stick Farmers Market in Baton Rouge, and we did a story with him talking about his process of freezing shrimp on the boat. Really cool process. Now, it's not all about business here at Farm and Table New Orleans. There are a lot of fun things going on as well. We're talking about a chef's battle, something like you would see on Iron Chef, and also a famboree where children get to interact one-on-one with agriculture. TWILA's Carl Wiggers went to enjoy the fun side of this conference to bring it to you.
Last-minute preparations are happening before the doors open to the 2018 Chef's Taste Challenge. 8 teams are plating dishes they'll present to hundreds of judges in just a few minutes. A few official ones and many more here to taste the best of New Orleans and the Gulf Coast. Teams fall into 2 categories, New Orleans chefs and Gulf Coast chefs. The latter featuring chefs from across the Gulf Coast in Florida, Alabama, and even a pair from Baton Rouge. Chef Chris Motto and Nathan Gresham teamed up to deliver some Baton Rouge flavor to this farm-to-table event.
We both use a lot of local ingredients, as many as we can, and so that's what this event is helping support, as well as putting Baton Rouge on the map.
Motto had 2 familiar ingredients to work into this dish, one from the Louisiana Gulf and another donated from the Georgia Department of Agriculture.
We got shrimp and collard greens in this draft, which is pretty awesome. So I wanted to utilize them as much as possible. Use the shrimp many different ways, collard greens a couple different ways. We have a pecan crusted shrimp, It's got a little bit of an andouille aioli on top, set over braised collard greens with a little bit of andouille. That's a shrimp head stuffed with a shrimp cornbread dressing. I want to use it as a vessel, as well as, again, put some more shrimp in there, and then finish off with a little collard green marmalade. So I hope y'all enjoy.
I know they did, and judging by the line at Motto's table, so did the guests. Across the room, a chef representing Team New Orleans, Byron Bailey, was drawing quite the crowd with his mama's biscuits. Of course, that's not what attracted him to this competition.
And giving back to the community, and specifically Edible School Garden is a big thing for me. I work with Edible School Garden a lot outside of this event, and it's just an honor to help support.
Portions of each ticket sold for this event go to support this local program raising up future chefs. Tim Hemphill is the Vice President for Sales and Marketing at the Morial Convention Center. He says that this partnership is vital for future generations to learn where their food comes from.
One of our partners for this event is Edible Schoolyards. You know, it's very important we want to make the connection between where ingredients are grown and how they're incorporated into the school system, because there's so many things that schools can relate to growing stuff, whether it be math or science or whatever. And so Edible Schoolyard really represents that in a great way. And so they're one of our partners here.
We will never be able to sustain ourselves if you don't know where your food comes from. You know, you can't ride down the street and go to your local farmer to get it. You have to go find a store. I don't think we'll last too long as humans.
This event also partners with other states that provide fresh ingredients. Texas provided the green and yellow squash. Georgia sent collard greens. New Mexico has been a partner since the first event in 2015. Dennis Hogan is the food and beverage specialist for the Department of Agriculture there. He loves to see his state's hatched chili peppers getting some love from New Orleans chef Byron Bailey.
If you think about it, it works so well with many, many foods. It's not all about enchiladas anymore. It's about like what they're doing here with the whole hog and other food ingredients.
The official winner of this year's event was Chef Justin Ross from Team New Orleans with his chili tuna dish. But at the end of the day, these guests were the real winners.
So let me talk a little bit about what happens at the Famboree, because we have North Shore High School here that has an ag department, and it's amazing to see the urban kids relate to the farm animals. They've never seen them before, they don't understand what happens, and when they see a chick or a sheep or a cow, it's like it opens up their minds to really how things work, and they take that with them. And it's one of those aha moments for, you know, when they go back home, they say, okay, you know, I know where this sweater came from because I helped shear a sheep this morning.
You know, Avery, one of the really cool things about coming here and getting to be a part of the Chef's Challenge, the Chef's Table Challenge, was they're all the great chefs, and they're from New Orleans, the Gulf, and there's kind of a little competitiveness going on there, and the food that came out of that competition was great.
I bet the drinks were really good too, but let's get to the real reason why you wanted to do this story, Carl. It wasn't to go and see the kids petting the goats. It wasn't to eat a bunch of fine food, which was good. It was to have a date night with your wife, wasn't it?
It didn't hurt that she could come down and also enjoy it.
Working hard for the Bureau, Carl.
Doing what I can.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. So, Kristen, as you can see, this was a good time not only for folks to pass a good time, but also to learn about agriculture and how it literally gets to their plate. And I know you're going to have a lot more about something like that from our own TWILA's Neil Molassa.
You're very right, Avery. If you remember last week, we went to Laughing Buddha Nursery and talked to Kate Estrade, who has expanded from gardening products to providing garden fresh products. Along with that are the meats which come from a farm on the North Shore. This week we're going up to Bogalusa to talk with Kate's husband, Grant, who started the farm with a vision of providing the highest quality products for his customers in the New Orleans area.
When I was at Laughing Buddha Nursery in Metairie last week, the abundance of farm fresh products was as important as their gardening products. Kate Estrade told us they would sell out almost as soon as they got them in. Part of that is due to Kate's husband, Grant, who started local cooling farms here in Bogalusa 3 years ago in order to provide those products. Grant said beyond just the simple need to provide fresh products was the need to educate consumers on why the farming part is so important.
Ultimately, there's so many things out there. In about a 20 or 30 minute conversation, with a farmer, a customer really can start seeing what all these things mean. That's very important.
One interesting fact about local cooling farms is that they're using a native breed of cattle to Louisiana called the Piney Woods breed. Well suited to these conditions, it is slower growing than other breeds like Angus or Brahman. While this adds to the cost, Estrad says there is a way to make it cheaper that gets right back to consumer education.
One thing we're really educating folks on is buying like a half an animal or buying a whole animal, storing that in your freezer, and then you're eating off of that meat for, say, like 6 months.
Another unusual aspect of the farm is that they're one of the few in the state that grows pork. Grant has his own brand of pork products in the store that's known for its good taste. Additionally, there's goats and chickens here, which not only make great products, but also great employees.
So other farmers, again, they may be paying somebody to spread fertilizer. They have to buy the fertilizer themselves and all that kind of stuff. And so our cost is built in. So in essence, our chickens here are employed as our pasture fertilization team. Right here we've got it was about a cubic yard pile of compost that we threw down.
The compost is partly made of materials that would otherwise end up in landfills. Part of Estrad's efforts here are to rehabilitate the land, something he uses in his own fields.
I would compare this to the hay rings, the green hay rings that are developed in your field. So in the wintertime when you're feeding hay, in the spring you can see all the different circles where you had those hay bales. And that's the same thing. You're putting enough nutrient down in one spot to really, really make a difference. So,
with all of the many products the farm uses, one theme unites them all, providing the best products using the best practices while letting the consumer see every step along the way.
And we do a final soil product that we sell to our retail customers for them to grow their vegetables in. But the other cool thing is because we're doing on-farm composting, not only are we're farming, but we're a recycling center, so to speak.
All of the many products local cooling farms produces can be found at Laughing Buddha Nursery, as well as their online presence. We'll be sure and link you over to our website at twilatv.org. And Kristen, these were just fun stories to shoot, and as you can see, he puts a lot of love into this farm there. I mean, you can see even with the tall grass there, it's just an experiment that he's been doing along to graze those goats and those cattle, and he's using those that specialty breed there. He does have a little bit of Angus mixed in the breed there, so it is good there, as well as some Brahman.
You got to.
You have to for Louisiana, but it is really interesting that he has the time to have that more slow growing breed, so he can provide that different taste to his New Orleans market from a cattle that is native to Louisiana.
Well, that's an awesome hook in the story, and I did love the pictures that you sent back for social media with the pigs.
Those pigs were cute, weren't they?
The pigs made the pictures. You found a true jewel in these two stories. Excellent set of stories.
Thank you.
Neil Malasaw. Well, 4 of the top 10 most dangerous occupations are in agriculture, forestry, or commercial fishing. That's according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's with those statistics in mind that the theme for this year's National Farm Safety and Health Week is cultivating the seeds of safety. There are daily topics for the entire week, and those include rural roadway safety, child safety on the farm, and tractor safety. Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation Safety Director Wendell Miley says the topics covered this week need to be front and center all year long.
Especially this time of year. It's a busy time. It's harvest season, trying to get into crop, and we're just trying to make sure that they're doing the things they need to do to keep themselves, their family, their farm workers safe as they continue to get the job done on the farm.
National Farm Safety and Health Week runs September 16th through the 22nd. You'll find daily videos produced by the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation on our Facebook, and we'll put a link on our website at twilatv.org. Well, the Louisiana rice industry is worth more than $372 million to the state's economy. That's according to the LSU Ag Center's annual Ag Summary. But just as Louisiana rice farmers do every year, they're giving back. In recognition of National Rice Month, Louisiana rice growers will donate rice to area food banks in need of this non-perishable grain. This year, rather than make the donation in front of the state capitol in Baton Rouge, they're doing it in the rice capital of Crowley. The event will take place on September 24th at the Rice Theater in Crowley. Of course, TWILA will be there to cover the event. Still to come on TWILA, we're going back to Nashville to the Green Door Gourmet. Tammy Arender has a meal for us that's music to our ears. But first, expanding the numbers of workers in Louisiana. Stay with us. Louisiana's seafood and sugarcane industries could not operate without the help of foreign labor. In fact, 16,000 legal immigrants travel to Louisiana each year, making up a vital portion of our state's workforce. These temporary guest workers are part of the H-2A and H-2B programs. However, sugarcane farmers and seafood processing facilities are not the only ones who need foreign labor. Landscaping companies also use the same program to fill their workforce during the peak season. That's why many of these business owners gathered in Baton Rouge recently to discuss their concerns with the current cap of 66,000 workers each year. 6th District Congressman Garrett Graves says that they are working on an exemption in Washington, D.C. to keep returning workers from affecting that number. Graves says this is important to save businesses that are vital to the culture of Louisiana.
This is only for when you can demonstrate they're not American workers that are available, and it would have an adverse impact on American jobs because you would have people that have to close down their American, their Louisiana-based small businesses. This is having a big impact on our seafood production for shrimp and crawfish, for example, and what that does, if we can't provide those from Louisiana sources, that means we're going to be providing more imports. We're going to have to rely on imports from China and other places, which is certainly contrary to Louisiana's economy. So really important point to make there. This is all about America's economy, Louisiana jobs, our sugarcane industry, many of our farmers, our seafood processors, and our landscapers.
To learn more about this legislation, head over to our website at twilatv.org. Most of the time when you hear about urban farming, you think of small plots of land in the city with a few fruits and vegetables. But Tammy Arender found one that covers a few hundred acres in Middle Tennessee on a recent trip up to the Volunteer State. That farm, the Green Door Gourmet, is cultivating a real sense of community and appreciation for all things agriculture.
It's saying, pick me, take me home.
Sylvia Gagnier drinks in the sunshine just like her sunflowers. Gagnier grew up on a dairy farm in the Carolinas. Years ago, she moved to Nashville. She started some restaurants and owned her own catering company. But then she took her love of agriculture and love of good food and put down roots on this farm just 15 minutes from downtown Nashville.
Green Door Gourmet is a 350-acre certified organic fruit, vegetable, herb, and flower farm that also conducts great agritourism activities and has become a community hub right here in Nashville.
Gagnier and her team grow 80-plus varieties of edibles, keeping this farm operational year-round.
And we work with different wholesalers, so whether it's peppers for a salsa company or strawberries for a jam company, loofahs that can go along with Little Seed Farms gift packages. So we kind of are that integrator for many things here in town.
Everything grown on the farm is for sale in the on-site market, but what's not sold is put to good use by the executive chef, Richard Jones. Jones is preparing tomatoes for a class on canning.
50% of my job is taking excess produce that may have a blemish or a bruise. You know, people still don't really want to eat ugly fruit, and then I'll turn that into a product that's saleable in our market, our on-farm market.
Chef Richard's ability to take slightly blemished or things that might not be the most beautiful things. Not every vegetable can be a supermodel. So we have to make sure that they get their due love, and so Richard can take those things and turn them into beautiful soups, salads, fermented products.
Some of the excess juices and seeds.
Chef Jones, originally from Australia, has made quite a name for himself, chosen as one of 10 from across the country to be part of the Taste Challenge in the inaugural Farm to Table Conference in New Orleans in 2015.
2, 3, 4, release.
The grand barn on the Green Door Gourmet property isn't used to store hay or equipment.
A lot of different things go on in that barn, but what happens in the barn stays on the farm.
On Wednesdays, there's bar in the barn.
Sing it first, you guys are doing great.
Wellness Wednesdays offer anything from bar to yoga to painting, all designed to de-stress. In Nashville, I'm Tammy Arender for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Green Door Gourmet also has a U-Pick strawberry farm in the spring, and they offer farm boxes as part of their community-supported agriculture program. Well, Landry Vineyards recently celebrated another harvest with their annual Grape Stomp in West Monroe. Winemakers Jeff and Libby Landry are working with Louisiana Agriculture and Forestry Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain to expand agritourism in our state. Combining food, fun, and festivities with a hayride through the vineyard, this event is always a great time for all ages.
We're at Landry Vineyards on New Natchitoches Road in West Monroe, and we're out here for the Grape Stomp. The most fun part is the Lucy Look-alike contest.
I just happened to have a Lucille Ball outfit and wig, so I thought maybe I'd come out dressed as Lucille Ball.
We produced approximately 60 tons of grapes with that. We're not looking for huge crops, we want balance. Making wine and producing quality wine grapes is all about balance from the beginning to the end.
There's a lot to this. You know, everything that he does is for a purpose. It has to do with the flavor. It has to do with the acidity. It has to do with, he's talking to me about how much phosphorus will be there if he does this with the leaves. And now we're working on marketing these products. You know, a Louisiana craft wine, Louisiana craft, industry, so that when you go to a Louisiana restaurant, you have certified Louisiana, you want those Louisiana shrimp, that étouffée, you want to pair that with a beautiful, bright Louisiana wine.
Marketing is a big issue. Blanc du Bois, what is Blanc du Bois? People say, I never heard of that before. So that's a big part. Lenoir, what is that? It's a new grape, a relatively new grape, both of these. It's not like Cabernet Sauvignon or Chardonnay that everybody knows what that is, right? So, that's where a great commissioner comes in. He helps us to educate the public.
This is a true family success story, and it's a whole lot of fun. But this is just the beginning. When you talk to Jeff and Libby, you see their eyes light up.
This is so awesome for a local business right here in my area to do this. I said, how is a vineyard going to make it in North Louisiana? But it's just been awesome.
Number 3. All you have to do is take a look and see those young people, those children. They're out there, they're running up and down the grapevines. They're taking the tour on the tractor, looking at agriculture. It brings, especially our children of all ages, literally back down to the earth to see, to feel, to touch, to taste, to experience something that I guarantee if it was not for here at Landry Vineyards, they would never see.
What agritourism does for us at its beginning is helps us to educate. That's a very big part of what we do because we need the consumer to understand what we're trying to do. We want them to understand that this is authentic. People connecting a great time with a product that they enjoyed. We put all that together. You have a customer who is committed to your product.
To plan your own trip to Landry Vineyards or to find out more information about the Louisiana Certified Program, visit our website at twilatv.org. Still to come on TWILA, are you ready for your weekly boost? We've got a story of hope and life on the farm right after this. Let's finish off our show this week with a little boost from the farm. Sugarcane farmers Philip and Chelsea Domain shared these adorable photos with us, and we just had to pass them along to you. The photos, taken by Emily Chauvin, feature Chelsea and Philip's son Grady on the red tractor, and Jackson Saunier is pictured on the green tractor. Jackson is the son of Megan Saunier and the late Joshua Saunier, who was a rice and crawfish farmer in Jeff Davis Parish. Josh lost his battle with brain cancer on July 4th, 2018. Chelsea said, although both boys are growing up on a farm, the crops that their dads grow are completely different and offer different experiences for the boys. But you can see how proud they are, and Jackson is excited to be able to show Grady a thing or two. Thank you so much for sharing these wonderful photos with us, Chelsea, and we hope you guys at home enjoyed them as much as we do. Her photos illustrate the rich diversity of Louisiana agriculture in the best way possible. They also prove that while Dad may be the one on the tractor, farming is certainly a family affair, especially during harvest time. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll take a look at how Harvest 2018 is going and what farmers are looking at in the market. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.